Bandidos, the Merciless is back and it's better than ever, thanks to the all-new gear we got in Season 11. The last Merciless build I made for you was no doubt strong, and you can check that out here. But this one is my new fave, and with it, I actually like this weapon. I'm zapping the enemy in the head from great distance and with even more survivability. Hit like if unique and effective builds are for you, and comment, "Oh mercy me," down below to support the channel. The Merciless. You either love it or you hate it.
This gun is lightweight. I want my money back.
We discovered the formula to making the best possible Merciless build, and the Merciless now feels more amazing than it has ever felt before.
In the quiet words of the Virgin Mary, come again.
Can you believe it? When you see the Merciless for the first time, you're like, yeah, look at this badass gun. 500% amp damage, 500% weapon damage, and explosions? Let's blow something up and go eat some meat.
You had me at Meat Tornado.
Then you pull the trigger.
Hey, wait a minute, am I being punked? Where's Ashton? Oh my God!
Listen to how it sounds. The enemy is more likely to call it cute than fear it. But here's the real joke. Hitting a target standing right in front of you, you'll be convinced the devs are screwing with you.
Are you taking the piss?
I mean, what the ever effing... And when you finally get your stacks, there's this explosion.
There we go. You fucking happy? Come on.
So I took the Merciless to my live build lab on YouTube and Twitch, where me and a bunch of bandidos broke the Merciless code. Again. The three-part build formula for the Merciless accounts for handling, power, and survivability. Handling most of all, because if you can't land a shot, nothing else really matters. So that's where we started.
By the way, why are we wearing bras on our heads?
Ceremonial.
The problem with the Merciless is that continuous fire takes the barrel up and up and up, so the user has to constantly reacquire their target. And power is the second most critical part of the Merciless code. Most don't notice, but the weapon's talent binary trigger only buffs the 14th round once you achieve all 7 stacks, and only then you get that explosion too.
Fuck me.
And the 500% amp damage and 500% weapon damage is based on what you load on your build. So the Merciless requires an already strong build. So weak build, weak binary trigger. The attributes on the weapon are rifle damage, crit damage, and crit chance. We typically prefer damage to targets out of cover instead of crit chance here. 1, it's multiplicative damage and leads to overall more damage output. 2, crit chance can be acquired in a number of ways. When damage to targets out of cover can only be added on the weapon or these knee pads. Look at the mods: 10% accuracy, stability, reload, and handling. Since handling encompasses everything, the Merciless is already equipped with 20% accuracy and 20% stability. And those mods are in places we'd otherwise add more crit stats. So again, we're down on damage. To break the Merciless, you first must try to understand what the devs were thinking. First, they gave us one of the fastest rifles in the game, which is good because the weapon has small stacks you need to earn. Second, they chose to give us crit chance and damage for attributes to encourage a strong build aside from the weapon. The key part of this all-new Merciless build is the Ninjabike Exotic Backpack. This backpack unlocks a brand or gear set bonus attribute and allows us to add amazing handling to the build without the braced chest talent. After testing a bunch of builds, the gear set that provided the greatest benefit is the Umbra Initiative gear set. We want to run a crit build, and this set gives us 15% crit chance right off the bat, 100% crit damage, and even 30% RPM boost to make this weapon even faster at stacking. And the 40% regen over 5 seconds is a big deal on this build that otherwise doesn't have a major source of recovery. And we're getting that without running blue cores. This set also gives us 30% reload speed. We will come back to that. The chest piece allows us to get the full 100% crit damage and 30% RPMs, and we have weapon damage and crits. The gloves are with crits also, and the mask, of course, is the same. I know, you were thinking strikers, right? Of course we tried. We ran 3-piece strikers with a Fenris chest and obliterate talent, and not once did we get max stacks on strikers, and that's only 100 stacks. And Obliterate was difficult to peek out and nearly impossible to maintain. With strikers, we were running around with minimum stacks. If you give that a try, just watch your stack meters and you will see. Even with the ACS shotgun to add stacks, the Merciless isn't enough to maintain them, and if you switch out of the exotic to use the ACS, you will lose your Merciless stacks. Then what's the point?
No, I'm in control!
Of course, for the knees, we're running the Fox's Prayers, which is giving this rifle damage, accuracy, weapon damage, damage to targets out of cover, and critical hit damage. We don't really need the accuracy, but we do need that damage to targets out of cover. The more multiplicative damage we have, the better. This piece is the kicker. If you're looking to be part of a strong, positive community, then I have you covered. Join Tux's Discord. We're not elitists, and we're so much more than just clans and raids. Tux's Discord continues to grow as the central hub for the player base that loves this game and wants to see it thrive. And if you love builds, this is the spot. Also, join Tux's Players Club to support the channel, the cause, while getting access to member perks and extra content like gaming music playlists. Click the join button below. The Hotshot holster is giving us 30% weapon handling. We don't care that we're not making use of the marksman rifle damage. This is valuable enough. And I have weapon damage and crit hit damage on it. So 30% weapon handling includes accuracy, stability, reload speed, and weapon swap. Remember that 30% reload speed that Umbers is giving this? That plus Hotshot, it means 60% reload speed, which is 1.3 second reload time on the Merciless. That's absolutely amazing. You're always firing, always stacking with this thing, and it's going to be ultra fast because it's getting that 30% RPM boost also. So if we're looking at crit damage and crit chance, so we're at max crit chance basically, and we have crit damage at 210% crit damage. Remember, the Umber chest is stacking 100% crit damage. Really easy to acquire that. We don't have any damage to armor, but we do have the 8% damage to targets out of cover. And it doesn't look like we have heals, but we do. Remember, Umbra is giving us that 40% armor regen over 5 seconds, which we're using all the time because we have to get those offensive stacks anyways. For heals, I am running this fixture drone. We got 1 skill tier thanks to the backpack, and that's boosting the Umbra heals. So we seem to be doing really good with that. Now I am running the shield so we can do the shield peak strategy. That adds a lot of survivability. And as you can see, it's a tier 2 shield thanks to the backpack. So we tried both gunner and sharpshooter, and I decided on sharpshooter in the end. I liked it more because of breathe control. That gives you another 15% increased weapon stability. And I just love being able to land those shots on the head at will. It's also giving you more damage in the form of 15% increased headshot damage, which is a multiplicative damage like crit damage, only applicable to the head. And since we're landing so many headshots, we're actually making use of that. So this makes us actually stronger as well as more stable. If we run gunner, you get emplacement, which gives you 10% more weapon handling when you're standing still for at least 1 second. But you know me, I always move, so sharpshooter is more flexible. And of course, this does give you the 10% armor on kill, which isn't a ton, and I was doing just fine without it with the heals we have already on the build thanks to Umbra. Either way, the build works with both, so don't feel like you're stuck with sharpshooter. It's up to you and whatever you like to run. If you want the 10% armor on kill, go for it. Also, you can add 1 more armor core if you like. I just didn't really see the point because we didn't have armor regen that was based on armor, and we don't have a lot of armor on kill or bonus armor, so the enemy's just going to take that armor core away from you. Remember, the talent binary trigger is based off of weapon damage, so the more weapon damage you have, the stronger that trigger explosion. After trying a bunch of build variations, the thing that stood out to me most about the final build was the thrill factor. You can add more power if you want. You can add more handling too, but the way it is makes it a thrill to use. You're fast and strong, and you see the explosion on almost every enemy thanks to the fast and accurate hits. And here's the important lesson we learned when making this build. Shots on target means a lot. Even though you can get the crits higher, and I have that build for you here, this build feels at least as strong, if not more, because of how shots on target impact player performance. Because I have high accuracy, a stable weapon, and land most of my shots, I play with more confidence and go for the head more and actually land those shots. Whereas with the other build that was higher crits, I go for center mass because going for the head is more of a gamble, leading to more missed shots, slow stacking, and reloads. So even though the stronger build has higher crit damage peaks, it doesn't play to its full potential with max crits and explosions on the head. This new build does. And even though the crits are less, the RPMs and handling are way higher, so it misses less, stacks faster, and lands more shots on the head. In turn, this leads to more overall damage output than the stronger build, which is why it feels so much more badass than all the previous versions we've created. This is the best CQB sniper build to farm XP, and it doesn't use determined, but can point blank chain kill. Try it next. This video is brought to you by men with a mustache.
A mustache, if you've only got a mustache.
Follow me.